case you haven't had a childhood, I'm gonna briefly explain how Snake works. Believe it or not, you play as a snake, and your objective is, unsurprisingly, to avoid death. You can steer left or right to pick up fruit that makes you grow, and if you hit the wall, you die. It's a pretty complicated game for an AI, so part of my show was to simplify it. Some of the complication comes from the fact that, even though the map is symmetrical, the snake has to learn the same thing 4 times, since it doesn't know how to rotate the image. To simplify it, I turned the game into a first-person shooter for the snake, giving it as an input what it will see from its own frame of reference. It can see whether there is fruit, a wall, or nothing in the direction of its sight, and it can see in 5 directions. So it gets a 1 if it can see something in that direction, and a 0 if it can't. This input gets processed in the following layers, using matrix multiplication and sigmoid functions, and we get an output. The snake can decide to either turn left, keep going straight, or turn right. The fitting function was another hard thing to decide. If you just give it a point every time it gets a fruit, the first generations will get 0 points, and when it gets some out of pure luck, it's going to find it hard to relate the fact that it got a point with picking up fruits. Points need to be given frequently, so small improvements in intelligence are reflected in the scoring. With that in mind, I thought, okay, why not give it a point for every turn it survives? Why not? Oh, why not? Why not? Looking for ideas on how to solve it, I found this article that solves it by awarding the snake a point each time the snake gets closer to the fruit and penalizing it with 1.5 points for going away from it. This makes it so that a loop results in negative points for the snake. Then I awarded 15 points per each fruit and penalized it with 50 points if it hit its own tail, because for some reason they couldn't stop doing that. We have been seeing it learning for a while. Let's fast forward a bit through the learning process and see some of the interesting stuff. Now a bit about the genetic algorithm. If you know something about natural selection, this will result extremely familiar to you. We start with 60 completely random snakes. We test them by making them play, and we select the fittest specimens. Then, the less fortunate ones, well, they cannot die. We create new, hopefully better individuals by breeding the fittest ones together, combining them and adding small random mutations. Since we still have the best specimens from the previous round, this round will be at least as good as the previous one, and thanks to the randomness, improvement is possible. This may seem like too simple, but evolution works extremely well. So, that's been all I have for you this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.